Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. We've got a very special race today, the TNP, Team Not Pogi Summer Championships, and this is a 2-day event. Put the details on screen. We've got the Muckle Yin and then R.G.V, 2 custom finishes, 2 consecutive days, 4 categories, a mass category start. We've got GC, Sprint, KOM, jerseys, the lot. So this is going to be an absolute smash fest. Now the Muckle Yin goes a couple of times up the Skur, but Dan, who was organising this event for us, decided that we should go up the Skur once more. So yeah, thanks for that, Dan, and let's see how we get on in this one. Now, because it's a mass category start, you know, it's always difficult to stay with the front group, especially on these rolling courses, and I was already struggling. I didn't want to use a lot of my energy because, I don't know, I was just afraid of falling back and completely crashing out and, you know, not being able to go around at all with any particular group. But, you know, I dug in here and I managed to get back to the front group, which I was pretty surprised with. And yeah, my legs were screaming at this point, so I really did need a bit of time to recover. But, you know, it was nice to be involved in the front pack for at least the first 30 seconds. But like always, you know, what's going to happen is I'm not going to be able to keep up, you know, with the A's, the A pluses, for obvious reasons in this first little group here, and I will find my pack as I have done here, which is great. And you know, it was kind of lucky that I did find this group, because sometimes you can be left in no man's land. So here we are, found a nice little group, and I'm ready just to push on now and see what I can do within this 5. It's probably worth mentioning the form that I'm in at the moment. Now, I haven't done a lot of training, but I have been consistently riding on Zwift. So it's not like I've just literally come back from, you know, a holiday and I've got no legs at all. I have got a little bit of power back in me. And in this group, I've got Pete Dub. You can see P Dub there. I actually ride with Pete in real life. He's got his own YouTube channel. Go and check him out, Pete Watkins. Pete's such a good guy, and we are very similar ability, because we ride outdoors as well. We know kind of each other's power numbers and, you know, strengths. Normally Pete's on the front of every group ride we do, so it was good having Pete there, and I knew that, you know, if I stuck behind Pete like in real life, I'd probably do a pretty good job in this race. Now you can see by this course itself that it's very up and down, so I thought it was a really great course to use as we come up the Skur for the first time. Now, I once again wasn't exactly sure how well I'd be able to do on this, and I didn't want to lead everyone out, so I let someone go off the front there, and I just want to kind of hold my position within the group, not really let a bunch of people go, but just at the same time, you know, stay within this group, do a little bit of drafting. The power numbers aren't terrible, and I haven't done this climb in such a long time. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer, but to my surprise, we're coming up to the end here, which I was pretty happy about, and I'm still within the group. You know, it's the first time coming up this little incline. You know, we've got to go back down it, back up it the other way, and then obviously back up it this way again. So, you know, I'm conserving a little bit of energy whilst you know, still drafting in this pack, and you know, so far so good. 20 minutes into this race pretty much, and I feel pretty comfortable. And the only good thing with Scotland is you do get a little bit of a chance to rest, but it is very punchy. So as you can see by the power numbers down the bottom, or the graph down the bottom, it is very much, you know, I'm sitting in zone 1, zone 2, or I'm in, you know, threshold VO2. And it's just the way that this course is. I do actually like Scotland as a course, or as a map I should say, but I don't tend to be too good at it. So I was, you know what, I was quite surprised that I was still able to kind of do this. Now, you see a person in the red just up ahead. He's called Kevin Osborne. He's got his own YouTube channel. Go and check him out. And it was kind of a bit of a race between the two of us. Now, Kevin is also in category C. So, you know, I didn't know this at the time. I was just trying to kind of keep up with this group, but in hindsight, it was him right in this little pack that I was really kind of racing over the 2 stages, and you'll see what happens when I show the next race in a little bit. But it does get a little bit spicy. Now here we go up this second Skur. Now this one's a little bit shorter, but a little bit steeper, and I know that my punch isn't too bad. So Pete's already gone off the front. I'm going to just try and catch Pete here. caught Pete, went past him. Hopefully, well, I was hoping that Pete could kind of stay on my wheel for this little bit, and then we could cruise down together. And there he is, actually comes past me, so well done, Pete. And yeah, I'm hoping once again that Pete is going to drag me through to the finishing line. But we still got a little bit of the race to go, 8.5 miles left to go-ish. And, I was definitely feeling it at this point. I definitely felt fatigued. All the kind of up and down in this race does definitely take it out of you. But I knew we haven't got kind of too long to go. And, the fact that I'd stayed in this group the whole entire race so far, I was pretty comfortable, or I felt pretty happy that I was going to be able to stay in this group for the entirety of the race. And it was just then finishing as high up as possible in this group. Now, there were a couple of segments. You can see here that there's a sprint segment. Now, I wasn't actually going for the sprints jersey, and I wasn't purposely going for any KOM jersey as well. I just wanted to get as high up as I possibly could in the GC. I didn't necessarily think that I'd be anywhere near the top, or I didn't think I'd be winning, the TNP Club Champs or anything like that. But I just want to say, this once again, community that we have here has just grown massively. Mega thanks to Dan Kent, who races in the team. He organises a lot of it. We've got loads of things going on. Everybody is welcome. All categories, all abilities. Come and join. We've got, some really strong, A+ riders. And we've also got some, mid-category CD riders. We've got, a massive group of people. So, all welcome. There's a link in the description. Check out our Discord as well. But once again, massive thanks to Dan, who organises these kind of events. They're so much fun. I absolutely love them. Now here we go. We've got 2.5 miles left to go in this one. And, I know what's coming. It's the skirt again. And quietly confident, but I'm not sure where the legs are going to be. I've had to make a couple of efforts. Pete did a monster pull a minute ago. Which, I think he was trying to drag me on, but it really did hurt my legs. So here we go, final little climb here, and Kevin's just in front of me here. Pete's on his wheel, and then I'm hoping in a second that Pete is just going to make a little move, which he does, and then I jump on the back of Pete's wheel, and then I know that there's a kind of a steep bit here, so I stood on the bike, and now it's just a case of holding on, really gritting my teeth, and seeing if I can get to the front in front of all these... in front of all of the rest of the competitors. Pete's given me some encouragement there. Dropped Pete. Kevin's now 9 seconds behind me. So I've just got to give it a last little sprint to the top here. Now, the good news is I did make it over this, KOM first, but we've got a little bit of the downhill to go. But, I wasn't going to lose it. And here we go, crossing the line. I'll let you know the positions in just a second, but I was pretty happy with that. So we've got the A riders here, some unbelievable times. Jamie Cahill actually winning that one for the A category, but you can see quite a few A riders. B riders once again, Sigurd won that one, but some really great performances there from everyone. So lots of B riders, and then I won the C, which was crazy, and then Daniel taking the Ds. So on to stage 2. And this one is really to try and defend my position in GC and see what I can do. Now we're on the R.G.V course, so this is relatively flat with one little bump, which is the Aqueduct KOM. Once again, a custom finish the second time round just before the Aqueduct. And I knew this was going to be such a difficult race. Because it's flat, I know that there's going to be people there. Phil Cox was racing. Phil's got some great watts. He was in my category. Finished a couple of minutes behind, but I know that he could have kept up with this kind of front pack, and I really had to grit my teeth here because it was so painful. You can see I'm properly in the red, trying to get a bit of rest whenever I could, but I basically, my main aim here was not to let Phil or Kevin go off in this front group, and just to kind of sit in this pack and just hopefully wait until there's a little split. But as you can see, look at that for a start of a race. I was absolutely gagging for air. For me, 280 plus watts for the first, 10 minutes of any race is always absolutely just so painful and really at my limit. But yeah, I did what I could, stayed in this front group so far. And as I say, having Kevin and Phil there as kind of little carrots to chase was pretty good actually. Made me really stay in this front group. But I also had Dan Kent, who was going to domestique me for this race. And actually, you know, there were points in this race where I was hanging. I was ready to just completely drop, but Dan was like, no, just go a bit further. Come on, just go a bit further. And that really helped me, even though I was really gagging for air. Now here we go. We come to the natural split in the group here. And luckily for me, both Kevin and Phil are in this group. So I'm happy with that, although very, very tired at this point. Now you think that actually kind of flat races are my thing really. I've got a bit of a, you know, medium power curve. So, you know, I can sprint, you know, I can hold some half decent numbers. I can kind of climb, but once again, it's nothing, you know, too significant. So I would kind of put myself as a bit of an all-rounder. So I wouldn't expect, you know, to struggle on these kind of courses as we come up the aqueduct. KOM here just being led out again by Pete. Pete was also in this group and he did an absolutely great job yesterday of pulling me along and giving me encouragement. However, in this particular race, Pete decided to go a bit rogue and pull the opposition, which is fine. Do you know what? It was Pete was having his own little race, which was great to see. Anyway, I wasn't expected ever to get dropped on this little group, but I was really struggling. It was mentally challenging for me to actually try and hold onto this group. Now, as I said before, you know, having Kevin there and having Phil there was a bit of a blessing in disguise, really, because I didn't want to let them get down the road. Phil's the one with the red cap on in the grey jersey. He's just up front now, and then you can see Kevin is obviously in the red jersey, the red army team jersey behind. So it was a nice little battle, and really just, you know, like in real life, like the real Pogacar, I thought, you know, all I'm going to do here is defend. You know, I had 22 seconds on Kev, and I had just over a couple of minutes on Phil. So if anything, Phil could get up the road. That was kind of okay, but I really didn't want to let either of them go. And between Dan and myself, it was really good to kind of chase them back as and when they go off the front. Now these little twisty bits, I was really struggling here. This was one of the points where I said to Dan, "Look, I'm going to fall off the back here in a second." And he was like, "You've only got maybe 30 more seconds, or this little incline's your last little incline." He did tell me afterwards that he wasn't being completely accurate, but I liked that because it actually kept me going. And that's what you need sometimes. That's definitely what I needed. Now, thankfully, we're just coming to the end of the lap now and still within this group, which is good. Definitely burnt a few matches. And we can see a few moves here. So Kevin has just made a little move there, and Dan and I are going to bring that nicely back. And you can see Phil, who's just behind me. I think he's going to make a little attack in just a second. So it felt like that the whole race. It felt like one person made an attack, then another person made an attack. But, you know, it's all part of the Zwift racing. I absolutely loved it. It was such a good race. And now, once again, it's just for me to defend here my lead itself. You know, I was feeling like I could really do this. I didn't really feel like making an attack, I'll tell you that much. But I really felt like I'd worked very hard in this race, and to throw it away now would have been a little bit disappointing. But yeah, 5.7 miles to go, and as I say, it's mostly flat until we get to the last little bit. So as I said before, the ending is just the incline just before the aqueducts KOM, so I knew there'd be a little bit of a surge just before that, and I think there's a little sprint just before the end as well. So, you know, a few little points to negotiate, but I was feeling pretty confident. And as you can see, no one's really making any kind of major attacks here. So I'm thinking, you know, job done. I mean, it would be amazing to kind of win the championships, which I was quietly confident at this stage it would happen. But, you know, overall, a great championships. I'm really happy that this was put on. We are going to do one in the autumn and the winter as well. And we've got another little tour coming up, which I'll tell you at the end of this race, as we have just around 2 miles to go here. Kev is kind of just off the back now. I think he had some technical issues, shall we call it, and it's just Phil and I now in this group really that have got any kind of opportunity to win. I would say the category C as we're coming through now. My main aim now I've got this far is just to win the sprint ahead of everyone here. Now, just coming up, I have got a feather power up, which is good. Pete is just in front of me. Phil is just behind me. I'm just coming past, I think, Dan here now, and Dan was definitely giving me some encouragement, saying, come on, I have to finish this off, which was, you know, really good, because the encouragement, I'll say it again, the encouragement in this race was so good. As you see Pete just fly off there, Dan's going to give me a little bit of a lead out. I can see that Phil is behind me, so I'm just going to put the featherweight and then just go for the line. And yeah, I'm really pleased to say that after very successful championships, I did actually win the C category GC and amazingly the KOM jersey as well. But you can see I put all the winners there, so congratulations everyone that did, you know, well, and even that raced. So good, such a good championship. And as you can see on screen, we have got La Roja Tour coming up, which kind of runs as the La Vuelta does. So we've got a 6-day stage event that we are really looking forward to hosting. It's on Zwift. The link is in the description. We'd love to see a few more of you there for the tour. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.